Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of TechViews Now, and today we are doing our second Android tutorial on how to code for Android applications. Today we're going to get into some basic code, layout, and functionality, and hopefully we can move on through a couple things. Now, as far as what I'm doing, I'm building up a application that will have a database of all the things we go through, and that way you can actually go through it step by step on a given application. I'm going to get a little bit more detailed into it out through our entire process out through a few videos from now. But anyways, please stick around for the quick advertisement, and then we're going to get into this a little bit. Thank you for sticking around during this quick transition. Now, if you want to help me out, then there's several quick ways. You can easily leave a like, subscribe, and share to this video and my other videos if it helps you out, of course. And if it doesn't help you out, then feel free to leave a dislike, but also tell me why so I can fix it in other videos. But as far as things goes, if you want to help out even further, then you can check out my other videos by clicking the top button. This will take you directly to my channel, and if you are mobile, then the links will be in the description for everything that I'm talking about. And if you want to help me financially wise, as far as getting better equipment or being able to actually hire a staff, then feel free to check out the left button, which is the PayPal, and the right, which is the Patreon campaign. The PayPal is simply a PayPal donation, and the right is simply a Patreon campaign. But without further ado, let's jump right back into the actual video, which you came here to see. Welcome back. Now, as far as things goes, I got all the code already written and ready to go. I kind of messed up in recording. I thought I was recording when I was writing the code, but maybe next time. But as far as things goes, it might actually make it easier to show you what's going on. So when you first start up a project, let's actually start a brand new project. Sorry about that. And you can type in your application name here. Then whatever company, if you don't have a website, don't worry about it, but type in whatever you want right here, so your name or whatever. And the reason why it's important is this package name. This is where if you uploaded a package name with this and I try to upload the same package name, like say for example I somehow got my hands on your APK file, which is the application file, and you can actually take the APK file and sideload it into the any Android device. But if I have my hands on your APK file for whatever reason, which it will happen if I download it from the marketplace, then and you upload it to the marketplace, what will happen is when I upload it, it'll try to compare it and say, nope, it's already there, someone else already done it. So what will happen is it's just a way to protect your stuff. There really is no way to protect your code. Basically what happens is there's no way to copyright code unless if you're like talking about like the entire thing, but pieces and you know, things like that, there's no way to copyright it. People tried, never succeeded. So, but if you wanted to, you can edit the package name. So from here, you can select if you want to do phone, TV, wear, which is watches right now, might be something else, and glass, and these are the classes. Now, I advise, and I hope that you follow this advice, is go with phone and tablet when possible. If you go with TV, keep in mind what has happened in the past. I don't program for Google TV for two reasons. One, I don't really have one. I'm not loaded with money, so yeah. This is the bigger reason. Google actually made its Android TV stuff way back when. We're talking about way back when, because I had one in 2010 and it sucked, but I thought it was going to take off. Well, what ended up happening is it was supposed to take off and nothing happened. Basically, Google, they made the platform, the operating system, all the other nice, fun stuff, and then nothing. Yeah, so they didn't push it. They didn't try to get many companies to pick it up. Some did, one or two, but that's it. With the watch, the Google Wear, right now Samsung's really the only one. Samsung, Motorola, there might be another one. Those are the only ones actually are picking it up, and they're halfway picking it up right now. So yeah, it's not really satisfactory, but TV might boom off tomorrow. I doubt it, but the watch, which has some chance there, and here's my theory behind it. With the watch part, once, and given that it is readily available at the time, once it gets down in price, say $20, it's going to boom like you won't believe it. But the chances that it's not going to be there. So realistically, once it gets to the point where the watch is robust, as far as it can take a whack without scratching it, and it can be water resistant, and so on, so on, so on, it will boom. Because here's the deal, and a lot of people don't recognize this, because a lot of people have these white collar jobs. I'm not saying white collar sucks. In fact, I'm trying to get into the white collar world, because I've only worked in blue collar jobs all my life, unless you're talking about freelance and a little IT here and there. Other than that, I worked in blue collar all my life, in my working life, and there's been jobs I went in and I had to, on a weekly basis, had to buy new clothes because the chemicals destroy the clothes. So on top of buying groceries, I got to buy 5 pair of new pants or more, depending on things, or less. And you ain't gonna carry no nice watch, nice shoes, nice things. You ain't gonna carry any of that, because it's going to destroy you. I mean, I would love to have the ability to wear $200-300 watch, I don't know, tailor pants and shirts and all the other stuff, but I am not in that type of lifestyle. Not because I don't want to be, it's because I can't at this time. It's just no way at this given time. But I'm trying to get there, and I know a lot of people out there that are in the same boat, one way or another, or they like the blue collar lifestyle, and they ain't gonna buy no $300 watch that can get scratched up. They ain't gonna buy no $300 watch that can get dinged up because they're at work, because they're turning a wrench or working on a car, and now you got to scratch all the way through. They ain't going to do that. Where let's put it this way: if someone can say, for example, if they're changing oil on a car and the oil runs all down the arm, if it destroys the watch, it's worthless. Let's just put it that way. If it's really hard to take off, it's worthless, because you got to keep in mind, some blue collar work, if a machine grabs your watch or something, you got to get that thing off within a fifth of a second. In other words, your hand's just removed. So that type of stuff happens, and some people, they want to wear a watch and they have to for a job, but they also have to have something that they can hit a button and it releases it, and the machine needs it, so you ain't getting it back, but your hand is there and you got a job tomorrow. So while you get working cons for 6 months, you don't have a hand anymore, and that's the only job in town. So what's going to happen afterwards? So that's why you got to be able to remove it pretty quickly. I mean, this is the United States, so don't think it's some far off place. But I mean, things like this, until someone can do something like this, maybe the quick release, maybe not so much of that, but if someone can ding it up without really having any scratches on the lens, if someone can basically soak it in oil without actually having actual real problems with it, and have chemicals going all over it without have actual problems. I mean, obviously, other than the normal problems, because it's chemicals. Then at that point, it will sell. In other words, you just are tailoring to what 10% of the market or something like that. Because look at how many blue collar workers there are versus white collar. And I'm not saying managers are white collar either, because most managers, I've seen them out on the floor. So yeah. But anyways, as far as the glass, the reason why I'm advising against a programmer for that is law. Not that it's illegal to program for it, but in some areas it's illegal to have the glass. So you're going to limit yourself, unless if you're programming for yourself on any of these things. If you're trying to make actual money, you got to remember this is illegal in most places. It's hardly out there, and it's mostly for sports right now. So I mean, if you find some actual use for it to kick things off, maybe that's one thing, but right now it's hardly out there. And I heard from some people who've seen people who has it, because I'm not in an environment that sees things like this. I've heard that it actually looks like a work release bracelet, something where someone's in prison and they're allowed to leave to go to work somewhere, and then they have to go back to prison, or maybe a halfway house or something like that. So it's basically like, instead of putting it on the ankle, they put it on the wrist. So and that's why I heard that what it looks like right now. So until they fix that part too, I wouldn't really do too much with it and expect something. You can play around with it, fine, but I wouldn't expect too much. In TV, I really wouldn't expect too much, unless you have one or know someone with one, or it's booming. So the thing with this part is, and the reason why I'm stressing this a lot is it's important to know what you want to code for, and to set your expectations to be realistic. Because what happens is when you start coding all these things, you might think a 2-hour job is maybe a 10-minute job, but that's nothing. I've seen it where some jobs, they're 2 months at minimum. And I've seen some all the way up to 6 months coding something for some mobile device for some company. And you don't want to spend all that time on something that ain't going to take off. Because the thing is if you spend all your time on that, you could easily be spending your time on something that has a potential chance of taking off. Because of this, you also need to look at the API level. This right here below it will tell you how many devices actually has it, like for whatever has Android. I think their statistics start around Android 2.2 or 2.3, and then anything past that's pretty much pretty accurate. So something like 4.4, it says 25, almost 25%, so a quarter. And that's pretty interesting, because you can say, well, I could code for 4.4, but 75% of the market cannot even touch this application. Now, unfortunately, you can't go any further in those. You have to go on the web and look at all the statistics, because it'd been nice to see how many newly activated devices within the past year are this versus something else, because it can easily be that you have, I don't know, 1 million 2.2 or 2.3 devices that are no longer in service anymore, and they're affecting these numbers. So yeah. So once you figure out whatever you want, just click. And by the way, a lot of people say, "Oh, just go for 2.2 to 2.3." That's not going to help, because some of these things they weren't available. The code, whenever you code something for, say for example, if I code something for 4.1, and then I all of a sudden start coding something else for 4.4, it can easily be the fact that whatever I'm coding for 4.4, you couldn't do for 4.1 for whatever reason. So that's pretty important. So just click next, and I prefer just do blank next, whatever you want to call it, and finish it, because I already got it. I'm just doing that. Now you can open up a new layout. Let's try to open up a new layout right here. So right click layout, new, and layout. And I'm just going to name this for my next video, which is going to be showing how to make a splash image. Or not splash image, but actually a splash screen, which is basically when you start up an application, it shows a image for X seconds, and then it moves on to the actual application. It's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. So as far as that goes, we need to make sure that the first character is lowercase. In fact, I think the entire thing has to be lowercase. You'll get errors if you did it wrong, so don't worry about it too much. And yours will look something like this. Now I am going to just close this, and we can go back on this. So one thing you'll notice on here, that this is the page that we're working on, and you notice that there isn't much, but there's a bit of code here. And by the way, their design tab, basically that's a drag and drop thing. So over here on the right side, this shows everything on here. So we got the layout, so the entire thing's in a vertical, as you see here. And if we wanted to, we can change the orientation right here. We can change the gravity, which says center or not, which you can see right here, it centered the button. And then we got the layout for this, so it centers the button. Then we have below that the button's right there. Then we got the text view, and what I did with this is you can see the width is fill parent, so the parent is this, and basically the height, I made it 8 dB. So basically you just say whatever. That's probably way too big to show. So something like that. Let's do that. And I filled in the background with cyan, and all you have to do is go to Google, search for whatever color you want, so neon green, cyan, whatever, and look for the hex code. Just type in whatever color, then hex code, and you should find it pretty easily. Paste the hex code within here with the number sign and everything, and then it will show up. So as far as the background itself, I mean, here's the hex code for black, so that's why, that's that. Now if I wanted to, I can easily have, in fact I'm going to show you the buttons, the background, doing an image, which is going to happen actually with the next video splash screen, but I'm going to show you a little bit of that on this. So with this, what we have left is their layout, and I centered it. So basically I did a separation up here. The user only sees a button and a separation bar, and then a thing saying click here. And what we have is text. It's invisible. You might be saying, well, how can a user see it? And Well, it's coded to be invisible, which I'll show you in a second. And by the way, on the text side of things, again, this is XML. On the text side of things, all you have to do is click the whatever you want to mess with. As I see there, it takes me directly there. So here, the text, we got wrap content, which means it just use enough space to do its job. And if you have a image as a background, that's something that you might want to just set the size. And then what we have is style. So we got large image. We can do bold and all the other stuff, but I don't want to. Then for the text, we got hello world. This is what the text will say. And then below here, we got an ID. This is very important. The ID for this, it doesn't have an ID for this text view, but it has ID for this one. The reason why is this text view right here, I'm not planning to do anything with it. There's going to be no function with it besides what it's doing right now as a separator bar. So it's not going to change. If someone clicks on it, it's not going to do anything. It's just there. So you'll see that in some cases. But where this, I want the hello world to show up when someone clicks the click here button. In fact, I got a thing right here. So right here it shows the click here button. You click it, it shows a click here button goes away. The reset button shows, and when you click the reset, it reverts back. Same thing happens. So right here, I want an ID, so I can code in the Java form how to revert. Whenever someone clicks here, it reverts it to a visible. Then I just said text color, so it's green. It's neon green like this. And then from the visibility, it's invisible. As I said, you got choices of going visible or invisible. As the invisible. And as far as this goes, you might notice that it's not clicking on a thing. I've tested this a few times on many things, and when you make something invisible like a button, it's basically, it's almost like it's not there. So that's pretty interesting in itself. Now I don't know if it's always like that. Every single time I tested it, and every single time I used it, it acts like it's not there. You can't click on it or anything. So yeah. Now with the button, same thing. I have the size. It says click here, and I have an ID for it because again it's going to do something. It's a button. And for the background, instead of having a color or anything like that, it's like for this, it has nothing for the background. So for something like this, I have a image showing up in the background. So it's an image of a blank button. All you have to do is go on Google, look up images of blank buttons, and just get whatever and edit and paint and whatever. One thing I'll advise you to do is go into, see if I can pull it up, paint.net, and what you can do is you can edit it. Then you might see this checkerboard stuff. That is that's transparent. Basically what happens is if you got a transparent part, it'll show up as a checkerboard on here. When you save it, it's going to be an actual thing. Remember to use layers and all the other stuff. I'm not going to tell you how to work that thing. Now I got a button up, and the reason why you'll want that, you'll notice that there is no white corners on any of this, so that's pretty important. Now as far as this goes, the second button, the reset, what I could have done is had it where it just whenever it was clicked, it could have went and said reset, and then the code could said if it says reset, then clicked, then make that invisible and reset the click here back, or reset the reset word back to click here. Else, just keep it the same, or whatever. But to make it easier, I'm just going to do 2 buttons, especially in an application like this. No real big deal to it. So that's pretty much about it. Now, one thing I'll advise you to do is take notes on your code. Take as many notes as you can, and how you do that is simply by one of these caret things, exclamation mark, 2 minus signs, and I don't know, I'm calling it all wrong things. I know it's hyphens, but then write whatever you need and do the 2 minus signs and caret thing on the other end, and it should be fine. I know there's many, depending on what country you're in, it's called different things, so I'm just going to say that just for the ease of it. And also, I'm not a English major. I majored in aerospace, and now I'm majoring in computers, so yeah. So as far as that goes, yeah, take as many notes as you can, but let's go into Java. To do to make a new class, what you need to do is right click the proper area, get a new Java class. The first character needs to be capitalized. Past that, it doesn't matter. Let's just open that up. And what we can do, if you want, you can actually right click the XML, do a split view, and now you can actually see both codes side by side, so XML and Java. And for here, and this comes in handy for this reason. For here, what we did is, instead of keeping the main stuff, I just wrote a new class, and also because the main stuff. Basically, whenever I make a new application, I almost never use main activity because it has a bunch of junk on it. I almost always delete it and just start my own classes. So that's up to you if you want to do that. But basically, what's happening here is we have extend activity. We don't have action bar or anything like that. That's one of the things. Then below here, whenever this class turns on, we say there's text view, and HW needs to be, it's representing the text view. And then we got buttons, and one button is going to be represented by click, and the other one is reset. So when the thing cranks on, it will actually start the layout, and it says what the layout needs to be. So as far as here, it basically says this name, so it means this is going to be the layout that opens up. And then below, and we're going to get a little bit more into this in the splash screen. Below here, we're identifying these buttons, or these things. So we're saying the HW is this. So it's HW.ID right here. Click is click HW, and reset is that. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as that goes. So right here, what we're doing is we're saying when button is click, do the following. And it's saying which button to identify with. So it says right here of click, it's a button, and right here, this is the ID for the button, and then down here it says what to do. So it says HW, so which is that, and this is the ID for it. Set visibility to visible. And then same thing with the reset, and with click, make that invisible. And then below here, we have it on a totally separate deal. Keep in mind, right here, these things, where they are. So right here, this is basically saying that between these two yellow things, this is the code that deals with that. Same thing with this, between those two yellow things, and those basically the first one's where it starts, the second one's where it ends. So yeah, I'm not going to get into all the little finite things. I'm kind of just trying to glance it over, mostly because this is not the place or time to do it. I'm trying to do some basic stuff now, and I'll get in a little bit more advanced later on in later videos. And for reset, same thing happens. And you might see this on yours. Just click that to get rid of that if you want, or you can just have it. It doesn't matter. But basically, it says reset to be listened, and it needs to do the reverse of that. That's it. Now you can see, what this is associated with. So for example, I hover over that, it tells me on-click listener method, and this should tell me the class and some other stuff. So it's pretty easy. Now if you want to play this right now, it probably won't work. What you need to do is, let's go into Android Manifest, and this says what class to open up. And what happens here is when the application first cranks up, it looks at the Android Manifest. It looks for the category, and it looks for launcher, and then it says, okay, this is a launcher, so this is what we need to bring up first. And then it looks at this and it sees the name of the class, which is this over here. So basically what happens is, if you wanted something like splash screen to come up, then whatever the splash screen class is named, that will be there. But because we want this to come up, we put this here. It's pretty simple. So in order to make your thing work, all you need to do is open up the GenMotion by clicking the plugin and then clicking the play button, and it will build and everything. And from there you can actually play with it. You'll get something saying which thing you want to throw the application on, and it'll throw it on, and you can play with it. So from here, as you can see, we got a working application. Now, because we didn't program this to do anything, it's just there. So yeah. But anyways, this has been Craig Bennett, founder and owner of TechViews and Help. And if this video has helped you out, then please leave a like, please subscribe, and please share. Also, if you do have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and I'll try to get back to it as quickly as possible. Now, if you didn't like this, if it didn't help you out, feel free to leave a dislike, but tell me why you're leaving a dislike so I can improve future videos. But again, please leave a like, please subscribe, and please share. And please visit techviewsandhelp.com and also the Patreon campaign. And I hope you have a great day.